Okay, that ought to be all the tabs that I need to have set up. I think that'll do it. Organize this shit. Get over there. There we go. What up? What up, every peoples? My cat is here being very noisy, so if you hear meowing, that's her. She's decided that it is now time for her. The end of this week, the past couple days, she has decided that I have not given her enough attention this week. So she has been extremely demanding. All up in my grill, noise, and pestering with like the paw taps to get me to pet her and all that crap. So if you see her making a guest appearance, she's a cat. I can't really do anything about it. How's it going, Drifter? Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you here. She's now playing innocent, bathing herself as if none of this has been happening. I absolutely love my cat. I talk shit on her all the time, but I love my cat so much. Cats are absolutely awesome. But here we are. And I am going to have us be picking up where we left off last time. Last time we had started working on our on the programming tower dungeon. And whoops, that's zoomed in awful quick there. And we got kind of the framework, the basic concept of it taken care of. And now it's time to put in a couple details and finish this bad boy off. Now, one thing that it occurred to me that I need to do is I need to undo the rooms here, or the room numbering, because I realized I put them all just in order, but that doesn't make any sense because, well, it's not that it doesn't make any sense. It's more so that I would prefer them to all be in random order rather than in numerical order, since each room number represents a specific room, and it's just the numbers are really just there for me to stay organized when I've got my notes and shit going on. So I'm gonna delete these and we're gonna renumber thing, and it's messing with my head that it's not always showing me the cursor, but you know, we adapt and survive, I guess. Alrighty, so, and we do have like our door and everything in place. Yeah, like that's a door over there. We can't grab it, but we can put more in there. Okay, alright. So everything is where we need it. But we need to do the rooms, and what I like to do for the rooms, grab my stuff here. What I like to do for the rooms is I like to, I mean, this is for Dungeons and Dragons after all, so it seems only fitting that we let the dice do the determinations on what goes where. I mean, it's only logical, right? Only makes sense to do it that way. What program is this? I am using Dungeon Draft. I'm still kind of new to using it. For a long time I was using Dungeon Painter Studio, but I got a new computer that is much more effective than my old one, and so I've been able to sort of upgrade a lot of the software and try a lot of new tools, and so I've been trying this one out, and I am a big fan of it, mostly because of the direct integration that it offers with the Foundry virtual tabletop system, which I use for my online groups. And so we put in all these doors and windows and stuff, and it makes them directly interactable, so that when you put it into Foundry, the doors can be interacted with by players. They can open and close it for the sake of like line of sight, which it automatically enforces for us. So it is it's an amazing tool. I'm absolutely in love with it. And other than just my my ineptitude, it works very well. I'm not very good at using it, but that's all entirely my fault, not the fault of the program. So, but at any rate, so for assigning the rooms, because like I say, we're doing this with D&D, I like to let the dice sort of decide. So I am going to pull out one of my D10s here. Let me see which one I'm feeling like using today. I kind of want to use my my ice dice. I call it ice dice. Can it get in there? I don't know. I have a huge dice collection because that's what I'm a nerd for. Some people really like their minis. Minis are just, I'm so like meh about them, and I think that comes from being a DM. Hey, Mr. Buddha, how's it going? As a DM, like, one would think that I'd be really into minis, but the thing that I find with minis is they often are very specific in use, and I can only use them for one or another thing, and they end up taking a lot of space. So I always, just for like live game board pieces, I just use these little plastic circles that I can write like a little number or a little letter to represent them, so that way I only need to have like 10 or 15 of them on hand at any given time for all of the monsters that players are going to interact with at any given time. But dice, I can never have enough dice. I oftentimes have to stop myself from buying like 15 to 20 pairs of dice, sets of dice all at one time, because I love them. They're pretty, they're fun, they're satisfying. I don't know. I love dice. It is cheaper. You're absolutely right. You can find dice like super affordable. Even really nice metal dice these days, they really are not expensive, and I am all about it. But yeah, I'm gonna use the ice dice, the like teal and white ones. I actually really like these dice. These are some of my favorite sets. But we're gonna use that for determining our room numbers here. Except for there are a couple that I think will have to be certain rooms. And I'll kind of explain for those who don't know what my system is. I'll explain why the room numbers matter beyond just like, well, not really beyond. It really is just for organization, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So for now, let's start with the rooms that I know I need. Let me look here. I guess you're going to kind of see it. So marker number 10, that's always a safe room. I always add a safe room, so that way if players want to have the opportunity to take a long rest, there's a room where they can possibly do that if they recognize that it's the room. And so that way it's like, it discourages players from just flat out, like, wherever they are standing, just say like, oh, we'd like to stop and take a long rest, because, you know, that's cheap, and I hate that. So I always make them, if they're going to do that, there's there's potential long rest consequences. But there's also always a safe room so that they can avoid those if they so desire. So that's what room 10 is. And what is happening? I do not care about that. Sorry, my work phone is buzzing, but I am off today, so my work phone can suck it. I'm disinterested in dealing with my work phone. So room 10, so the safe room, given that this is a tower, and it's going to be a straight up climb, I think I want to make that one like halfway up. How's it going, Nice? Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Hopefully you're doing well as well. I don't know. I guess actually, you know, we'll let 10 be kind of random, but it'll be one of these middle ones. The safe room will be kind of random there. Let's see here. So the reward room, now that one I know is going to be at the top. If they want the rewards out of this, they got to make it all the way to the top of the dungeon. Usually I don't railroad players into having to do an entire dungeon, but sometimes it just is appropriate. So that's what we're going to do here. So that's going to be number 9. I'm going to move that up there. Sure, Nice. Yeah, go ahead and share it. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Alright, so there's our reward room. The twist can be random, the puzzle can be random, and then combat. So I always put in a handful of combat rooms. Easy, medium, difficult, and deadly combat, and then also a boss combat on top of this. There's always 5 combat rooms. Boss combat is going to be towards the top. The rest of them can be random. I don't even care if they're in order of difficulty, but the boss one is going to be the second from the top, because that's just, I don't know, that's just what we're doing, you know, and players can deal with it. So that's going to be room number 6 is always the boss combat. Then we're going to center it because I'm obsessive and I can't let it go. There we go. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we got those, and now the rest of them can be random. So we've got our dice, and we're going to do this. We're just going to do it nice and random. It's always fun. It's always fun to let fate decide. Okay, wow, that's, well, how about that? I guess actually that makes perfect sense too. The first one here rolled up a 1, but that makes sense because room number 1 is always sort of the quote-unquote guarded entrance, or an entrance that is a something to signify. It doesn't necessarily have to be guarded in the sense of, oh, there's monsters there that will try and stop them from entering, but more so it's like some sort of like definitive, yes, you're going into a dangerous place, this is beginning an instance, prepare yourselves. So that just kind of worked out perfectly there. Alright, what do you got, Nice? Yeah. Any magic. Quick thing, you got a +2 to dex. Some intelligence +2. Nice. Nice, that sounds cool, Nice, yeah. I like that. I like that. Block 1 point of damage. Nice. Alright, alright. I feel it. I feel it. Kind of like a natural magical armor type thing going on. I feel it. I feel it. Alright, room number... So this room is going to be room number 4. Boom. Move this. Oh my gosh. My hand is super not steady today. This is going to be rough. Alright, next room. What do we got? Room 10. There we go. Alright. So there's the safe room. It's going to be pretty early, so they'll have to backtrack a little bit, and that's actually kind of cool. So if they want to do that, the other thing is when players, the way I do it, the way I lead my games, when players do decide to take a long rest at any given time, if they're in the dungeon, even if they're in the safe room, some things happen to the rooms themselves, right? Sometimes monsters will regenerate, or they'll move. Traps might be reset or new traps set up, things like that. So even if they have to backtrack, like say they make it up to this room here, and they clear it out, and then they backtrack for a safe, for a safe night of rest, these rooms might not be the same that they left them at, which is something that I really like adding that, just because I really like fucking with my players. Alright, the next room is room number 7. Bada bing, bada boom. Next room will be number 5. Look at us, no repeats so far. Fate is being quite helpful. Come on, there it is. Okay. I guess I kind of want to move this one too because I'm obsessive. There we go. Boom. Let's see here. Yeah, that makes sense, Nice. Yeah, having the dex and intelligence be up there for a magical species like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Alright, so then this is room number 3. That'll be a combat room in the end. So 2 combat rooms. So we've got combat, rest, puzzle, combat, combat. Yeah, and so these are going to be, let's see here. We're going to have one of them be a combat, and one of them is going to be our surprise room, or our twist room. I always add a room that's just like kind of a little out there and doesn't make much sense, which is what the next room is going to be. That's going to be a number 8. And again, the numbers don't represent the order in which players find the rooms. The numbers represent which room in my notes they are, just so that way I read off the notes that correspond to the appropriate room. And you'll see when we get there. This is room 2 by default. So there we go. Okay, there are our 10 rooms sort of figured out here. So now we get to start putting shit in them, which is always the most fun. I mean, that's the most fun of just about anything, putting shit in something. So, yeah, literally, figuratively, whatever. I like putting shit in a toilet. It's a good feeling. Anywho, let's see here. So, guarded entrance. I gotta think about how I want this place to be guarded, and honestly, I think what I want to do for it is just have the door be flat out locked. It can be as simple as that, and I'm always trying to come up with really clever ways to sort of like guard a dungeon and make it difficult for players to enter, so that it really has to be a deliberate decision to enter and begin interacting with a dungeon. But I almost never just rely on a straight up lock. which I think I might do. We'll make the door locked, and we'll, like, there are windows there, but we'll make the windows so that they're like the barred type of windows, where it's not actually like a glass pane or a window pane or anything like that. Instead, it's just an open, like an open portal that has like the steel or the iron crossbars or something, so that no one can climb through it. And I think I'm just gonna make it as simple as that. Let's see here. It's easier to do it this way, otherwise it'll delete my bullet point. Okay, so the door to the building is locked. DC, I'm gonna make it tough on them for this level, which is, well, actually, you know what? Let me check. It might be higher than that. The way I balanced it. Nope. Yep. Difficulty is still 12. That's perfectly fine. Door to the building is locked. DC 12. And the window is not one that can be opened. Players have to bust their way in if they want to. The lock is an iron not bad lock. It's not a bad lock, it's a good lock. An iron padlock that requires a key. And it's just important to specify that, because players might ask, like, okay, what's locking it? Does it seem like it's barred on the other side by a giant wood pillar? You know, is it a chain that's wrapped around? And this one, we're just going to say it's like a padlock. That just kind of goes over like a loop and latch type of situation. Is what we'll do with that. Again, just kind of keep it simple and straightforward. Sometimes we go, I know I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I try so hard to be creative and challenging for players that it almost becomes a cliche that none of my stuff will just be like a simple challenge. So I kind of try to make myself do things that are simple and straightforward from time to time, just to make sure that I'm not getting too repetitive with my own crap. Because it's just really easy to fall into our own patterns, you know, and so I'm always trying to not do that. Okay, so room number 2. Okay, well, room number 1, let's see here. So I do want to just add a little bit of stuff in all of these rooms. I'm going to add a torch to all of them as well. Like, all of them are just going to have a torch that's like in a corner opposite of where the door is. And in fact, why don't I just go through and do all of those right now? Just because this is a lived-in space, right? Like, we know there are brainwashed individuals that are living here. So we know that it's not going to... oh, hold on a second.